Comrade, what's my task?
Well, actually, we're gonna do what we did last time, where we sat and talked for a brief minute. And by brief minute, I mean like an hour and a half.
No, this one's not going to be that long.
No, God, no.
All right, Comrade. So actually, surprisingly, we got a lot of positive feedback on the WoW video that we didn't expect anything from. We honestly just wanted to say our piece about it and then continue
Yeah,
forward
we
from
really
there.
just wanted to get an opinion piece out there because we've had a lot of opinions too about the game over the course of the years. But yeah, we put the video out. We got a couple comments we never had gotten before, a lot of likes and a lot of views that we hadn't gotten before. So we said, "Fuck it."
So
We'll
what we're going to do this time, guys, is that we're actually going to talk about our top 10, in a sense, favorite WoW moments. The way this is going to be done, though, is that I have 5 and Analytics also has 5. So we're going to trade off from what we consider our favorite moments to all the way to what is our pinnacle best moment from playing Classic WoW and what we've truly loved the most about the game. So with that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it. So let's go on ahead and let's start with my number 5. When we both have them written down right here. So my 5th most memorable moment of Classic WoW, and this one, I don't know if it's corny. I don't even know if it's truly a moment, but there's something about when you first time log into the game and the music hits, and I don't know what it was, but for me, it hit in a different way that it's never hit before, because every other time I've ever played the game, I normally have Dead Mouse, I normally have Monster Cat, I normally have something else playing, but when I first started playing on Nostralarius, all I did was listen to the music. I turned the ambience up, I turned the music maxed out, and like it was immersive, like from the grunts during the fighting, the sounds of Elwyn Forest like rings true to me like to this day now because of how long you spend in it. It truly was a moving, beautiful orchestrated set that I truly never appreciated beforehand. And the thing is too is that I even went back and I listened to some of the other soundtracks from the other expansions too, and they're great too. But something about Classic was the first time I actually opened my ears and I listened to it. So that's actually my 5th most memorable moment from Classic WoW as of this point. So I'll pass it on to you.
Well, it's actually funny you say that because mine was extremely similar. So, in general, mine's pretty much the same. It's the ambiance, kind of the feel of the world of World of Warcraft. But specifically, it's actually going to be, as weird as it sounds, Duskwood. Yeah, I know. It's the same reaction I have every time I think about it, too.
You're talking about the place right past the second leveling zone after Elwyn Forest,
Yeah,
the
Westfall.
Westmart or Westfall, yeah.
Westfall,
And
you go
then
to Red Ridge.
like death,
Yeah.
just death.
Yeah. I know, of all the places in the entire World of Warcraft, Duskwood is my most memorable. And the reason why I liked it so much is because every fantasy game you play, you always had that nice, beautiful foresty, plains, grassland area. And you occasionally get your deserts and your snowy peaks and whatnot. But what really got me was when I went from the nice, easy, noob-friendly forest to the slightly more contested, like, a little bit harder to deal with, I guess, area of Westfall, because there was a lot more mobs. That was when red mobs were really a thing, and so they kind of attacked you on their own. Then you go to Red Ridge, and that wasn't really much, to be honest with you. I didn't really care much for Red Ridge.
Actually, I had a different experience in Red Ridge because
Red
Red Ridge was war zone
that's the
on
only thing I was gonna say.
Nostralarius. It was a fucking war
Red
zone.
Ridge was basically just people coming down from burning steps to attack Lakeshire. That's basically all Red Ridge was. So, like, the questing environment wasn't really much. But then when you go into Duskwood, at least for me, it was a really, really enjoyable experience because it was like you actually felt immersed. Because you're in this incredibly dark, spooky, scary area. You have no idea where the fuck to go or what to do. Because even the quests don't tell you really where to go 90% of the time. They're just like, look for that random tombstone, that random hill, or next to that fucking really far off camp up in the top left corner where you would have never found it unless you had to run all the way around Duskwood like 10 times. But then there was like the little, just like the exploration part of it too. So not only did you have that tiny little camp in the corner, but you also had your multiple farms and the various, issues with them. But then right smack dab in the middle of this giant spooky environment where you could fall through and go into catacombs and stuff and be in a lower level area and feel like you're trapped. You have to work your way back out of there. Or, you're up in the upper level fighting off all these skeletons and whatnot. And then you're fighting all these spiders and wolves. But then right in the dead middle of Duskwood is the most peaceful, tranquil place. And it's that... I don't know if you've ever been to it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the garden with the portal, and there's a world boss there.
And it's just, like, absolutely out of nowhere. Like, it didn't
It's
match.
literally, like, Night Elf just plopped in the middle of it.
But it was so weird because it was like a weird, peaceful tranquility in the midst of just chaos. And it was so fucking cool to me when I explored it for the first time, because I'm, like, traveling back and forth between Ravenhill and whatever the fuck that is. Darkshire? Darkshire. Traveling back and forth between them like 10 times for all the quests, and then jumping through all the other stuff and exploring all the world of how everybody died and whatnot. And then just wondering when I'm traveling back, like, what the hell is that road? I've never been on it. What is it? I know the other one goes to like a jungle because I went there once and got killed. That's Dragonthorn. And then I'm like, what is this one? It goes like up a little hill and then it kind of disappears in the mist. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go explore it. So sure enough, I go traveling up there, and then I'm like, it's like kind of like being in a desert. You're dying for a drink, and you find that mirage, and then you're like, but this one's actually real. So you go into it, and it's just like beautiful. And I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking cool. Not to mention all the atmosphere and stuff changes, because you're going from like all spooky and scary to just like super soft, mellow Night Elf music, and just the beautiful environment set it all off. I was like, damn it, this is so cool. That's when I got hooked. Literally,
it makes sense.
That was literally when I got hooked, because I played so many other fantasy games. Like, I played EverQuest before I played WoW, but nothing ever felt that just reassuring, I guess, to me. So anyways, what's your number 4?
So, my number 4, this one's kind of dumb, but it's the quest for fucking Goldtooth. I'll show you guys, and I'll put a little picture of Goldtooth up here.
Goldtooth?
So, Goldtooth.
Like the first
real mini boss you have to find. So,
okay.
There is a cobalt mine, and inside said cobalt mine, it's all in Elwyn Forest.
Ever played World of
Literally, there is a fucking army, a full battle ready cobalt army. Kobolds are little guys with the candles on their head saying, "Not my candle." But somewhere in there, there is one. Only one. And he spawns once every hour. His name is Goldtooth. So let me tell you the story and the lore behind Goldtooth. Goldtooth is a son of a bitch. He was birthed from the Hellfire Chasms himself and escaped the Burning Legion. Upon making his mass escape, he amassed an army of kobolds. He showed them the light of the candle.
Yeah.
Upon showing them the light of the candle, he then decided to mine for treasures because he liked shiny things as they looked upon the candle.
Well, then, being Jesus to a materialistic, crazy gold digger.
Yes, it's perfect. So then you get this quest. Seems like a simple quest from a very simple farmer. All he wants you to do is kill Goldtooth. What he doesn't tell you is that it takes a group of 4 players minimum.
Don't quite think it was that many, but it does take quite a few.
No. I literally had to kill Goldtooth in a 4-player pack because the problem is, guys,
it's not him, it's everybody else.
It's everything else, exactly. Because his respawn timer on his minions is like a fucking minute to 45. He is almost like a 30-minute, realistically, but almost to an hour respawn because you have to factor in the other assholes trying to kill him that aren't joining your group to go from there. So you will spend days in this fucking mine if you were unlucky trying to find this one fucking mob. You will grind 20 levels.
How do you spend days?
Realistically,
like an hour and a half.
So when I say days, I actually realistically, and I think it's just because it was my first time, I ended up spending 5 hours looking for Goldtooth.
You spent 5 hours.
You have to remember, it was on Nostralaris, a server that was just gaining popularity. A lot of people we're coming in as like re-rolling characters or starting new ones for the first time.
I was on a maxed out Mal'Ganis server, and I didn't have any. I mean, I still took like an hour and a half, but it still had nowhere near 5 hours worth of struggle.
Not the same. Remember,
I just sat in the corner and waited for something to come by, and then I literally just hit him with the judgment.
Well, actually, that's maybe my problem because I kept running around the entire fucking place.
I gave up running
because I knew he patrolled.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck it, maybe I can catch him on the patrol. But regardless, no. So Goldtooth, the biggest issue with him is that after I had finally gotten him, and the thing is too is that while Alytics may have played on a maxed out Mal'Ganis server,
it was still
remember
less popular.
Nostralarius actually had a higher player kappa per server.
Kappa?
Isn't that what it is?
Player cap, not kappa.
Okay, sorry. So player cap.
Kappa's that thing you throw in Twitch with a dude's face.
Oh, cap. Okay.
Yeah.
So higher player cap than what was on the original classic WoW. So that maybe didn't help my struggle, but at the same time, I specifically remember that quest for being the biggest pain in the ass I ever had. It was funny. Hogger was just a fucking joke. Yeah. Hogger was a joke to me.
Hogger was a... Did you play on a real vanilla server? That took like 7 people.
I literally got a party of 5. There was 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 1 DPS. And I died, and then the other guys finished it off.
Like 20? Because that's about what you need at that point to fight him.
I sincerely don't remember the levels. I just remember that we had 1 or 2 healers, 1 DPS, and 2 tanks. I specifically remember 2 tanks were required.
I was tanking. You had to learn how to off tank back then.
So I was tanking, and then the other guy was tanking. And then, of course, Hogger pulled the whole fucking camp at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
But, Hogger was easy compared to Goldtooth for me. So, I don't know. Maybe I just got a fucked up experience.
You just got lucky.
That's my number 4 is fucking Goldtooth from the Hellfire Chasms, straight from the Burning Legion, leading the army of Jesus Kobolds.
Yeah, I don't think Blizzard made that story canon or even was close to that. I'm pretty sure that was just mostly made up. I mean, there could be some truth to that. I mean, you could have been
okay, fine, fuck it. I will literally write the fan book right now and get it published.
On just Goldtooth? When Hogger has way more reputation to him. But whatever, moving on. So my number 4. So we talked mostly about beginning early game stuff that was really great to the game. What basically got us hooked into it and we loved it. Now I'm going to jump to the end game. So my 4th was a absolutely fucking awesome experience that Rex never got and he's always desperately wanted. And that was one of my many, many, many attempts or times of raiding Orgrimmar. Because I was on the Alliance. And my god, was that one of the, or many of the times, the funnest things I've ever done. Because first off, you know how a raid in Classic WoW can only max out to 40? Yeah, but that's bullshit. Nobody ever did a 40-man raid to Orgrimmar. You're dumb as hell if you even attempt. You died by the guards before you even got in. Yeah, that was stupid. No, you got like 400. You got like 10 raids maxed out, and then you ran in. And you got anybody at least minimum 50 up to do it, because everybody was like less than 50 couldn't heal you enough or do any damage. It was irrelevant because the guards would murder them. So, anyways, you would just Zerg rush them. So, in case you guys don't know, since you probably didn't raid Orgrimmar, Orgrimmar was by far the easiest to raid. That's why we did it. Because it had 2 entrances. One was heavily guarded. The other one was completely fucking unguarded. And I don't know why Blizzard decided to design it that way, but they were stupid as hell and they did. So, the front entrance, which is the heavily guarded one for obvious as hell reasons. Then there's a side entrance that goes into, it's kind of like a little mini path that can split off in between the Barrens and whatever's north of the Barrens.
It's the Naga area. It's the level 60 Naga area.
Yeah, you're right. Azhar, when they made it the Goblin place. Alright, so anyway, so there's a little side, little bridge thing with a little tent thing over it. So you run in through there, all single file, kind of like, 300 Thermopylae kind of thing running in there. And you just kind of go through a little cavern thing, and you just jut up and go straight into Thrall's Chamber. Like, ignore 80% of the entire city. Unlike, I felt bad for the Horde, I'll be honest. Unlike the Horde, who got fucked and had to run straight through the center. First of all, they had to run through Goldshire and everything else, which would sound like 5 million alerts. Like, the Horde is coming! Like Paul Revere. Like, the Horde is coming! The Horde is coming! And you'd be like, oh, okay, obviously the Horde's coming. So everybody from, like, Ironforge down would fly in, and you had an entire army already there within 5 minutes of getting prepared to go raid Stormwind. But the Horde, on the other hand, had nothing. The only thing they had was Baron's chat, which was bitching about like the current expansion or like politics, and then literally the actual city where everybody was just jumping around and killing each other or doing stupid crap with the auction house.
Baron's chat. An act of Congress to make it work.
Nothing was getting done there. So anyway, we would all run in through the side, like completely all super sneaky and shit or whatever. It was like, straight Splinter Cell with like 500 or 400 people. It was super weird but super fun. And you
travel in small pack.
Yeah. So anyways, you would sneak into the side and you would just butcher the shit out of Thrall. And then eventually, after the 5,000 pings of local defense going off saying city's under attack, people would figure it out and they would get over there. But the best part is, because Orgrimmar is in such a whack-ass area, it was not easy to get them to get reinforcements because the closest place is Thunderbluff and nobody was there. I mean, so literally everybody was either in Orgrimmar, most of them were in Orgrimmar, the rest would be in Undercity, which was like forever away.
Now you mention it, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because literally, literally, the only Horde place that you must go through the front gates is Thunderbluff.
Exactly.
Undercity has a fucking back door sewer leading straight to Sylvanas. Then you have Orgrimmar with the back ass in from there. And then the trolls don't even count because they're literally in the bottom desolate area.
The best part is, this is why I know everybody bitches about this from the past, that clearly Blizzard spent more time on the Alliance than they did on the Horde. Because first off, you can look at the zones and the detail. They put a lot more effort on the Alliance areas. I think they got a rush to put the Horde stuff in. But the funniest thing is that for a fact they put more effort into the Alliance, because not a single Alliance town can you attack from a second entrance. And the worst one to attack is fucking Teldrassil or Darnassus. Think about that. Try raiding Darnassus. How do you raid Darnassus? Wait.
You literally have to commandeer the boat, and then you teleport into the middle of the city.
Right in the middle of the city. How terrible of a design is that? That's my favorite. So yeah, Stormwind, you had the front gate, which is kind of like a long bridge and stuff, and then you got to like work around, and you go to the right, and you eventually kill the king, which was mostly just Bolvar 4 Dragon. So anyways, then in Ironforge, oh my god, that was impossible.
The only back door is if you just finished raiding Stormwind and then took the tram.
That's actually what people did, because it was and actually another thing people did too was it was actually easier to run through Ironforge sometimes. Run through Ironforge, run straight to the right to the Mechatort camp, whatever the hell it was, go into the tram, come out through the tram, and then raid the King of Stormwind. Because it was way the fuck easier going through there, because remember, here's the design layout. This is crazy hilarious how much the Horde got fucked. You run in through Stormwind, right? You go around, you're in the marketplace. What is right there in the marketplace?
The entire Alliance.
Right. Because the auction houses and the bank is right there.
Every fucking member of the high-level Alliance is sitting there. I need group to raid.
So you're running straight into a buzzsaw. But with the Horde, not the Horde, but with Ironforge, you could run in and you can immediately just kind of curtail to the right and dodge, because you have to go around that wall.
Yeah, because if you go into the center, that's where everything's shit.
You can kind of curtail it and run like you would see a stream of Horde, just a fuckload of Horde, just running off to the right, going into the tram, getting onto the damn tram, and then running down, flying it down to Stormwind, and then coming out the ass end of it through the Dwarven district, and then going to attack the king. Yeah, Horde got fucked, absolutely screwed when it came to raiding cities. But because I was on the Alliance and I didn't know, and I was like 14 or 15 at the time, I didn't give a shit. It was awesome. So, back to my point, I loved raiding Orgrimmar. So, now for your number 3. No, it was amazing. It was beautiful. If I go back to it, I would play the Horde just to see how terrible it is. But I would probably still do it, because it is more challenging and makes it more fun,
So, as I said in my last WoW video, I sat there and I first rolled a Gnome Warlock because I seriously did not think I was going to like the game. So I just trolled it initially just to sit there and get my foot wet. Well, I ended up getting a quest in the most fucking stupidest way I've ever gotten a quest. Literally, a guy, shoos you over. He's like, psst, hey, there's a secret warlock place in Stormwind. Go find it. I kid you not, that's the fucking quest. And I'm just like, Go to Stormwind. Stormwind is fucking huge. You don't realize it until you gotta find the one place that you gotta find. So, you are looking specifically for the slaughtered lamb. The slaughtered lamb is on the opposite side of the city right near the garden in the very back-ass crevice. Well, you enter the slaughtered lamb. What do you see? A regular inn. Nothing out of the ordinary at all. You talk to the innkeeper. He gives you no fucking help.
Yep.
You rub your face like this, staring very disbelievably and reading the quest text again. Then you finally walk out of the slaughtered lamb because you think you're in the wrong fucking place, and go back around Hall of Stormwind to then finally reread the quest and be like, no, this has to be it. So you go right back there, and then you start fucking walking around through the slaughtered lamb. Then you find a door, and you start going down the door, and then there's more down, and then more down, and more down. You get to the bottom of this fucking dungeon, and all of a sudden, there's the Council of Warlocks just waiting for you. And the first quest they give you is to tame a insulting imp who literally is calling you a piece of shit and the worst fucking boss he's ever had in his entire life, and shoots fire at you.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was an awesome experience. I never had spent so much time in a major capital city before, and so for me, it was just hilarious as it progressed, and I'm just like, well, that went to shit real quick.
There was like probably one guy on the development team that made that just for shits and giggles while everybody else was getting all serious about the city. And he's like, nobody will ever see this coming. And then he made it and he's like, this is why the game is amazing.
No, like that again, it creates that sense of world where you just can't help but laugh and you find it entertaining. So that's actually my third, because I still find that fucking story. I find that whole adventure for myself absolutely hilarious.
I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty funny. I remember doing it too, because I made every single class in the game and realized I beat most of them. But yeah, I do remember doing that.
Yeah, no.
Alright, so
you'll never fucking forget it. I promise you that. Once you find it once, you will never forget.
So my number 3 is kind of keeping on track with PvP when I said last time. Mine was, I wasn't very big on PvP back in Classic. I was way bigger in PvE, mostly because I didn't really do any PvP stuff. That was before like my Halo days and whatnot. It was all just nerdgasms and single player games. So, but I did get to experience one, actually many, but once again, one really awesome experience in PvP, and that was when I played literally almost all 4 days straight of Alterac Valley.
Oh, God.
So just in case you guys didn't know, this is the greatest feature of World of Warcraft that they ever took out. Alterac Valley was a battleground that came out, which was basically like a full-on sieging battle thing where you would run from your base and kill everybody along the way like a giant path of blazing glory, where you'd kill literally every every captain along the way until you got to the general. And you had so many other things you could do too, like summon an army of things and like a Trant and stuff, and it was awesome. So anyways, the thing that people did though was you would first generally start out running out of your base. You would set up a little bit of like figuring out who the hell's doing what and going where and trying to make some strategy, and it would immediately go to shit once you all clashed into the middle of the entire map. And you would just beat the hell out of each other for days. Not hours, days. You would just die, spawn, run, die. Mostly fighting over the center graveyard, because whoever got that center graveyard had like a significant advantage, because you could zerg much faster. You would just out-zerg your enemy until you get to the next graveyard. And that was basically the way to win, was to like kind of counter-zerg them like forever, just running to them. But the coolest thing was there was no time limit to it, and there was no cap to it like there is now with the reinforcement thing, which is basically how many deaths a team can have before they lose. There wasn't like a cap thing either where whenever you killed a captain, it would knock some of your reinforcement stuff down, because it wasn't a reinforcement cap. It was just, you either raised a little capital city thing, whatever you would call those little barricade or garrisons, or you just killed them like you do now. Then you just literally had to kill the general. That was it. That was the only thing you could do. Once again, of course, I was on the Alliance, so it was also significantly easier than the Horde, because the Alliance...
A fucking course.
Yeah.
A fucking course.
Yeah, I'm telling you, people always say, nowadays, I think Blizzard loves the Horde. No, I'm sorry. They're idiots. Blizzard clearly put way too much care into the Alliance. So once again, just like I bitched about with the cities, the way you had to get into the Alliance like little campground thing is over a fucking tiny bridge that you could just throw snowballs at people and knock them off and either kill them or they had to run back up damaged, and you just keep doing that until you eventually got back into that graveyard and just took it back over. The Horde, on the other hand, had a giant front open door where you just ran past half the town and went straight into the boss. What design flaw was that? I don't know. You tell me.
Fair.
Yeah, it wasn't fair at all. But anyway, so back to the point here, though. So you would just get on and you would just fight for hours and hours and hours trying to make any little progress you could. And every little bit you made felt like just monumental because you're like, fuck yeah, I spent 4 hours with these other 30-something people just raiding and constantly killing and fighting, and I was healing. Just healing and doing anything you could. Just every strategy you had out the window, you were just thinking, doing everything you could, until finally you got something. Then you just do it like all over again just to get to the next point, and then eventually you'd lose it, and you had to go back and fight it. I remember going and it was during like winter break or summer vacation or something, because I was in school at the time. But I was off. That's why it was a 4-day event, and I would sleep like 3 hours, wake up, play for 18 or 20 with a little bit of breaks for bathroom and food, sleep for like 5 hours or 6 hours or something, play for 18 to 20, sleep for 5 to 6 hours, play for... That's what I did 4 days in a row until finally, we made a breakthrough where we had a little, like, band. So you had, like, the 40 people. It's 40 on 40. You had, like, one group snuck around the side and capped a graveyard that the Horde did not expect to see at all. So we capped that graveyard. We immediately all charged in on them. Basically, all of us basically died, but we respawned at that graveyard and sandwiched them, killed them all, then fought them all back to the general, and ran straight to the general and killed them. It was beautiful. I will never forget it, and it was also something I'd probably never do again, because it was way too time-consuming.
The time investment is what makes it all worth it. It's just like why people love Dark Souls.
But one more thing to interrupt. You didn't get any extra shit for doing it that long. You just got what you got, but it was the most amazing thing you got.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's just like why in today's society Dark Souls is such a very important game. And I've actually wanted to do an entire thing on the logic of Dark Souls. But the thing is that game developers, players, especially hardcore gamers, even softcore gamers, they want to feel like their time investment was worth it. Mm-hmm. That's it. You don't need Skinner box techniques. You don't need arbitrary points. You don't need loot boxes. All you have to do is make it to with equal effort gives equal reward.
But Destiny loot boxes are amazing. I hate Destiny, by the way. But Destiny loot boxes.
You realize the entire EU is literally banning loot boxes as gambling. But anyway, that's just
really?
Yeah. That's a huge. It's a huge thing going on right now. Switzerland's leading the charge.
Learned something new today.
But anyway, so that's just a little small snippet on it because I don't understand why it's so hard to understand. Because even like that's why games like Dark Souls have become so great. I'll admit, Dark Souls doesn't have the greatest mechanics. It has very good, solid lore. It has very good, solid environments. It has very good, like, to all rightish gameplay.
Bitch, we're not talking about Dark Souls. Get back on WoW.
Oh, God.
That's your number 2.
Oh, fucking God. Okay, so...
What a number 2 right there. No wonder you didn't play much of the game.
So, my number 2 is the Trog quest in Wetlands. I fucking hate Trogs. I hate the way they sound. I hate the way they always run away. I hate the rocks that they throw at you. I hate the poison that they spit at you. I hate that there is literally a Trog island in the mountains secluded from everyone where these little fuckers are spawning and fucking like rabbits. And somehow there's a hierarchy chain. It's amazing. It's like the basic level is like the basic Trogs. Then you have the manager Trogs. Then you have the district manager Trogs. Then you have the CEOs and the CFOs in the cave because that's the comfy Trogs. And then you have the fucking owners which are patrolling wherever the fuck they decide they want to patrol. And here's the quest chain. Quest 1. kill the basic trogs. There's 10 of the throwers and 10 of the fighters. Quest 2. Kill the basic trogs again to get to the manager trogs. There's 10 of the throwers. There's 10 of the fighters. Hold on now. Quest 3. Kill the district manager trogs. Hold on. There's 10 of the fighters. There's 10 of the spitters. But wait, there's also 5 of the shamans. Quest 4. Kill the CFO trogs. There's 10 of the fighters. There's 10 of the spitters. There's 4 of the shamans.
I know exactly what Quest is about, 'cause I hated him with passion too.
And they're all in the cave. Then, the big one. Quest 5. Remember, by the way, you have to fight your way out of this, fight your way back in it every fucking time, because if you don't, you'll get a 2-minute respawn timer.
And you really have to, because as soon as you pull one trog, they all run away in fear when you get them like close to death. So they would automatically
Yeah, you pull the whole fucking...
At some point, you're going to chain pull every single person in there, regardless of what you do. Whether you fight the guy in the far outskirts, you just run straight up the middle. You fight them all.
So, Quest 5. Kill the owners. There's 1 fighter trog, 1 spitter trog, and then 1 shaman trog. Good fucking luck finding the shaman trog. The fighter trog always spawns and never moves from this one position. The spitter trog spawns directly behind the fighter trog and has a specific respawn timer to spawn in the middle of your fucking fight with the fighter trog. So you must imperative have 1 tank and 1 healer, or 2 DPSs and 1 healer. Impossible to do it otherwise. Now, Shaman Trog is a mystery that I have never figured out. I never even saw him. The group I was in killed him and I got credit for it. I literally never laid eyes on him.
To this day. He's a mystery. What a pathetic story. I'm sorry.
It's hilarious to me.
I looked over and I saw your number 2 and I was like, what?
The god-awful quest design, because you have to run to the top to run back.
If you think that was bad quest design, you didn't play half of World of Warcraft.
It required 20 minutes just for the fucking trip. Because of the fighting of the trogs. Because God forbid if you die, you already have the 2-minute respawn timer. Blizzard's telling you to get good. I don't even understand why the 2-minute respawn timer is a thing. It just punishes you for respawning.
Yeah, it makes you realize you suck. That's what it's for.
I spent more time in the underworld in that quest than I did in my entire retail experience in Legion. And that is no joke.
That's probably the truth. In fact, I almost guarantee it's the truth.
So
right.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Wow, your number 2 is embarrassing. My number 2 was an actual accomplishment.
I accomplished it.
It's
I killed the
funny
shaman trog.
because again, you actually kind of started what I'm actually gonna talk about, which is quest design, and mine was actually the Paladin Charger quest. The original only way to get the damn thing, not just get to level 60, get a magical, level 40, get a magical spell, and suddenly have it. Oh my god, by the way, guys, this quest sucked royal dick. But the other alternative was just as awful, which was actually trying to figure out how to get money. And that sucked just as much ass. So I was trying to be the cheap way, and what I thought was going to be like the easier way was horribly wrong. So I get level 60 eventually, after like a year of quitting, getting on and off, struggling, whatever. Finally at level 60, I'm like, I'm going to get the damn charger mount because it's cheaper and it seems easier. I just got to do some quests, get some materials. Easy. Not a problem. Fuck that, I was horribly wrong. I was horribly wrong.
What did it do? Send you to Nax?
Dude, it might as well. Fuck me. It sent me everywhere else. You gotta go to Skullaman's, get a ghost. You gotta go, like, somewhere else, get some hay. Fuck me. You gotta talk to a, you gotta find a, I can't remember if it was an alchemist or if it was an enchanter, but somebody has to transmute your fucking gold. They can only do it once every 24 hours. Not your gold, but some bar. Titanium or something. They can only do it like once every 24 hours. So once a day could you get one fucking thing, and you need like 5 or 10 of them. So that alone means you have a minimum of getting it within 5 or 10 days. Then you gotta go to the fucking ogre place, Dire Mall, get whatever the hell you gotta get from there. You gotta get like ingots and shit, and you gotta get all this crap. Plus you get 350 gold, which was less than what it was then, because it was like 1,000 gold for everybody else's amount. Mine was 350. But I had to do all this bullshit, and then
It
finally...
probably ended up costing more, because I know
It did cost more.
convincing a professional in WoW to do something for you that they can only do once, good fucking
that
luck.
was the worst part, was trying to get that fucker to transmute my shit. So anyways, I think it was True Silver. I think it transmuted... I think it was called True Silver.
Oh, and that's exactly what every enchanter fucking needs.
Yeah, it was
True
something
Silver.
that was pretty damn common that everybody needed, and it was once a day. It was stupid as hell. So anyways, so I had to go through all this shit to get to it. Sure enough, I believe it's actually to Skullaman's. I kind of skipped the order here. I think you go to Skullaman's or Straddleholm or wherever the hell you go. I think it's Skullaman's. We have to fight the ghost horse and basically like tame the ghost horse and eventually like get the reins and put it on it, and then you like claim it or something. I can't remember the quest. It's been like 8-10 years. So anyways, you do something like that, right? Problem is I somehow fucked up horribly. So I go and do all this bullshit that I just mentioned, and I mean it's some bullshit. Finally get all the materials I need to make the reins or whatever the hell you gotta make. They go fight the ghost horse. I go fight the ghost horse, and you gotta get a party together because it's not fucking easy. This thing is like a level whatever the hell elite, and it's dumb as shit, but requires a full party, and we died. With 2% left on the damn horse. And we died. Somehow, my quest glitched. And I could never reset the horse. Even if I left, even if I hit the reset fucking raid or dungeon option, I had to even contact a GM who then reset it for me, but in the process, fucked up all my materials and I had to regather them. And I'm like, no fucking way am I doing that. So I tell the GM, I was like, look, clearly something got fucked up on the actual dungeon portion of it, but I had the damn reins. I'm not getting them again. He's like, okay, not a problem. So he gives me the reins, right? I go and finally kill the horse. I can't put the fucking reins on the horse! And I'm like, what the fuck? Literally somewhere...
I just see little Derek sitting on top of this fucking horse like, no, I'm not fucking moving. I want a GM here, now,
we're talking like
fix it.
Yeah, we're talking like 13, 14-year-old me was livid. I was flipping my shit.
I just see your dad in the back like, shut up, faggot.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, something happened in that failure of a quest chain that I screwed up by dying the first time, where when they gave me the reins back, I couldn't get the freaking horse. So I had to contact the GM again, and I'm like, I literally sent him pictures. He had to come to me, okay, to my group, and saw that clearly something error had happened. So they put an error report in, eventually put that in the bug form things, and they would fix it later. So what he had to do is he had to literally grant me access to get the horse.
So he basically class trainered your ass to the horse.
Yes. But you know the fucking worst part of it?
Classic.
So here's the worst part, right? This is the worst. This thing fucking pissed me off. So, Wrath of the Lich King comes out. They come up with this amazing thing called achievements, okay? And in achievements, there's a special little one called Feats of Strength that say, hey, I did something stupidly retarded, unnecessary, and got this great fake-ass achievement that proves that I did it.
Like 40-man Nax.
Yeah. Well, there's also one for getting the Paladin Charger, and I didn't find this out until I looked at some other jackass on a Paladin Charger, and I was scrolling through his achievements, and saw he had one. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I have one too. Let's go look at mine. I look at mine. Non-existent. What the fuck, I say. So I immediately contacted GM. I'm like, where the fuck is my achievement? So sure enough, after bitching, they kind of backtracked through history and realized that I actually did achieve it the correct way. Somewhere along the lines, it bugged out in the like basically the portion where I put the reins on the horse. Something bugged out there, and they saw the message log and stuff between the GM and me back then, and they granted me...
GM and you back then is probably the same fucker that's been assigned to your Charger issue forever.
So he had to go back and re-grant it to me, and they had to manually put in my achievement. So I gained it, and it says the day that I gained it because I looked back at the day that I had the issue with the GM the first time. So I have a feat of strength, motherfuckers. I gained it right. But I finally did get it, so that's all that matters. But it was glorious at the time because, man, that son of a bitch was impossible to get, and it sucked. But I got my fucking horse, and I was better than everybody else.
You rode that fucker probably. You strutted it. You sat there and you /walked it all the time. You did not give two flying fucks. If someone said they had a better mount than you, you literally rode by with middle fingers in the air.
There wasn't really any better mounts. Unless somebody had the Winter Spring Tiger, the one that nobody could get. That was the only one that I felt super jealous of. But maybe the Raptor from Zolgurb. But other than that, I didn't give a shit about any other mount. Oh, and the Undead Horse from Straddleholm or Skullomance. One of them again.
Probably Skullomance.
I can't remember. There was an Undead Horse you could get from them. It was cool too. But other than that, I didn't give a shit about anything else. Literally just my Charger. And just the fact that I got the damn thing, because it was so hard to get money back then if you weren't a no-life, fat-ass, gold.
Basically, if you weren't the 2%.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was way too lazy to do that. All I wanted to do was just raid, and I kept dying too much in raids to where I had to keep affording my own durability costs, so I had no money for mounts. But I finally got it, so that's all that mattered. And that was a beautiful day.
Oh, God.
And I got that fucking achievement to prove it. Bastards. Almost didn't give me my achievement. I was a little flustered.
You were a little flustered kid.
Oh, yeah, I was very flustered. Actually, I was very pissed off. I was quite angry. So anyways, go with your number one.
So, the things that kind of suck is that my number one is one that we already did in a previous video. And so, I see no reason to really re-explain it because I explained it in the video. But the main thing is that basically I re-rolled a human paladin and then I traveled to this peak right outside of Ironforge, and this blacksmith there gave me a quest. Simple quest. It only required you to go to 4 dungeons all across the world. Simple quest that would only require 3 days of playing and group gathering. Well, little pissed off me, aka 24-year-old me, was not in the mood for a 3-day quest. So, my decision was, fuck it, I'll just do it my damn self. Because I knew some of the dungeons it had listed on there were really low-level dungeons. Because I was like level 24 or 25. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I can go through Shadowfang Keep by myself. But I'll just find a group just in case. So, on my way to Shadowfang Keep, I literally found one dwarf who accepted the quest with me. Because he also had a shitty class quest to go to Shadowfang Keep to get some fucking cape or some ball. I think he needed both, actually. On our journey there, we learned a lot about each other. Some might even say we formed a bond and a relationship on the way. Because we survived the infamous South Shore versus Taran Mill, as we had just missed the war. It was incredible. It's like time had stopped, the war had ended, and we were just coasting through the dead. No joke. There were piles everywhere. Then, as we got to Shadowfang Keep, the dungeon starts off at a very modest, very reasonable level 14, 15 mobs. And then the dungeon gets to a very unreasonable, very unfair level 27 mobs. And they get worse. So Shadowfang Keep's level ranges between 15, 27.
Yeah, something like that.
Who the fuck designed this? This is the Horde's second fucking dungeon that they can do. The dungeon 1 is Ragefire Chasm. Then you have 2 options, only 2 as the Horde. You have Shadowfang Keep, and you have Wailing Caverns. Wailing Caverns takes a year to complete, so Shadowfang Keep is the logical choice. But, while Shadowfang Keep is smaller, you can't complete it. Because your noob ass better have 2 tanks, 2 DPSs, and 13 healers.
just go through the raid group.
So, with that being said, though, see, me and this priest, I was rolling as the mighty, apparently unplayable, paladin tank, and he was rolling as the mighty, only playable character, priest healer. So, with that being
Only
said,
priest, there's 2 healers.
we assumed discs don't exist. It's not even a tree. If you guys come play Classic WoW with us, I better not see a disc priest. They don't work in retail. They didn't work in Lich King. They didn't fucking work in Cataclysm. They sure as fuck didn't work in Pandaria. And I didn't even raid, but I know they didn't work in Warlords.
There was quite a few times they were very relevant.
Shut up. Disc priests suck.
Especially in PvP.
If I got a disc priest in my raid as a healer, I don't care if it's the only fucking healer we got. I booted his ass
Like
immediately.
you said, they weren't dedicated healers. They were like mitigation.
A holy priest, spec change with 0 artifact power was better to me than a fucking disc priest. Okay. I despise disc priests.
I get it. You fucking hate them. So continue your story.
So, with that being said, so there's only 2 classes of priest. Don't let analytics fool you. There's shadow and then there's holy. That's it. Nothing else exists.
There's like 1.5 paladins. That's fine.
So what I assumed is that me and him were under the impression, because we both thought it was a level 15 dungeon. We thought we'd be able to run through it because the thing was that we had 2 healers. And so with that being said, that was the worst fucking assessment I've ever made in my life. Because it didn't matter if we were just 2 healers and then 1 tanking as well. There's so many CCs. There's so many stuns. There was so much running around. There's so many banshees that would just appear and fuck him up and literally make him unable to cast. Yeah, by the way, that was a thing. In dungeons, you would get completely silenced for almost like upwards to like 20 seconds. So I'm having to heal myself and keep aggro so he can get himself back up and then heal me. The other thing that sucked too is that he had to DPS as well. So while I was tanking, he was DPSing, and then the second I started noticing he was out of mana, I would immediately have to cast a judgment on him so that way he would get a wisdom buff and start regenerating his mana. It was a clusterfuck, but it was the best fucking clusterfuck of my life. We had so much fun spending 3.5 hours in Shadowfang Keep, like something I would never imagine myself doing in any current version of WoW, and it was just spectacular. That was the moment that I fell in love with the game, and then 2 days later, Elix calls me with the worst news of my life, and I literally want to kill myself. But hey, I had that moment.
Man, your World of Warcraft experience is depressing.
It sucked.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I loved every minute of it.
Don't worry, I'll come back soon enough. So to cap it all off, finally is my number 1, which I kind of thought about this one for a little while, but I guess this was the most memorable. Even though I've had a lot of memorable moments in Classic WoW. That's why it's truly my favorite game. But I guess this one was just barely the most memorable, only for one real reason. So, this was as simple as it gets. My very, very first time beating Onyxia. Really simple. The only reason why I loved it so intensely is because, 1, it was my first ever raid. I had multiple failed attempts at it. Many failed attempts, like 50. But it was my first raid that I truly, finally got to experience and complete. I also did Molten Core later on, but it was my first one that I finished. And it was such an amazing experience because I never had anything even close to that. Because all the games I've ever played before that were, like I said, mostly single-player RPG games. A lot of RTSs, aka Warcraft 3. And just the only other MMO experience I had was EverQuest. And I never got far enough to really get into the raiding scene. Most of the time I was too busy dying trying to level because I didn't really know what I was doing and I was like 10. So, I never really got into the raiding scene. So this was my first real idea of what raids were and understanding, where to be at all times, what to do, when to attack, how to attack, all that crap. It was a lot. And I was playing a healer, which, thank God, was probably the easiest thing to do in that thing. Because I wasn't the guys that had to figure out, when to off tank and switch.
Odd groups to the left.
Yeah.
Even groups to the right.
I wasn't the guy having to
Watch
do
the
that.
whelps.
Yeah. So,
Mini whelps. Stop nuts.
Yeah, so luckily my job was to basically just stand in one spot for the majority of the fight and just spam heal bots on everybody I could find. And it was like 2 buttons, Holy Light or Flashlight, whichever one I need to get off.
Who the fuck went to the whelps?
I had to witness many failed attempts of some guy getting blown up by the head, some jackass getting tail whipped, and my fucking favorite, the wings. The wings just freaking blowing your ass to the end of the cave or into the whelp camp. Every fucking time. Guaranteed. The moment one whelp patched, it was over. The moment you heard one, whatever the fuck their sound effects were, the moment you hear one, wipe, just go ahead and get ready for the next round, because you know it's done. You're fucked. Because they would all spawn at once, there'd be like a fucking million of them, and you get over... You guys ever see Leroy Jenkins? It was like that times 10. It sucked. Because you're fighting that and a big one. And the big one was pissed. And so, it was awful. It was honestly, actually, really freaking awful, really, is what it was. But, kind of like Dark Souls and what you were saying earlier in the talk here, that, the equal risk to the reward and whatnot, it finally had the payoff, because not only did I, finally kill Anixia, but, I can't remember because it's been so long, but I got a piece of armor, and I think it was shoulder pads or something. It was one of the tier sets. Whatever the hell it was, the early level tier set, the fucking banana suit.
Yeah, because it definitely wasn't tier 2.
Yeah, no, it was the banana suit.
Yeah, they made up for that shit real quick.
It was the paladin banana suit. I'm pretty sure it was the shoulders, but I can't remember. I wound up having 6 out of the 8.
Blizzard loves the Alliance.
Yeah.
But fuck the paladins.
Fuck the paladins, yeah. So I wound up getting 6 out of 8 of that banana suit, but that's irrelevant. I'm pretty sure I got the shoulders.
Did you blend in Stranglethorn Veil?
Oh my God. I was hiding with the trolls.
Were the apes chasing you down?
No, I blended in. They didn't know who I was. And then they realized there was one section of bananas that was attacking them.
I just have this inner vision in my head, you running around in literally a banana suit and you're solid snaking through.
It felt like, that peanut butter jelly time thing? That's what I felt like. I just wanted some maracas or whatever to start dancing and be like, it's paladin time. But anyways, yeah, so the reason why I just loved it so much is because it sucked so much asshole. It was fucking terrible. It was truly the worst moment of my experience in World of Warcraft, but once I finally beat it, it became the best because it was such an achievement that I had gained. And it wound up leading me to go into all the other raids, except Naxxramas, because that was impossible. And I was way too noob to get to that point.
Task set. The clueless comrades.
Don't even try.
I'm a little scared to even say
it. You can go ahead and say task fail, because I'll finish it for you. We're not going near Nax, ever. Ever. If Classic WoW comes out, give me 10 years and I might consider it. After everybody else has beat it for me and I can run with them. Yeah, no, it's not happening.
But dude, mini Tauren tanks. That's all we need.
Back to my point here. So, just getting that first experience in raiding, which is what made me fall in love with raiding when I was younger, and I just kept jumping on every raid I can get, and just the fact that once you beat it once and you learned and felt like you made that achievement, you better understood more of the nuances of the fight, and you can get better at completing it, so you had higher success rates, and people wanted to raid with you more because they knew you were more experienced. It just made you feel literally just more accomplished overall. It was so
basically what you're
cool.
saying is that it sounds like after the one time you actually complete it and get gear from it, all of a sudden people are more willing to actually take you in better and better groups. So you start ranking up in society.
Yeah, because I didn't really have a guild at that point. I was just kind of pugging it, but more organized pug. Because, there was
even classic pugging was still more organized than today's pugs.
There was no real pugging back then, because you literally had to have a dedicated group of people who knew what the fuck they were doing. It was just, this was a group of people I was, playing with a lot, but they were in a couple different guilds. But they were the lower tier of their guilds, but they couldn't get enough people in their guilds, so they would, friend with other guilds. So eventually they had enough people, and then they would have pickup people. And I was just one of the guys that was most well known at the time as a pickup person that would do it on occasion. So they picked me up, and then finally I got it, and then we completed it. And once we completed it, I got the attention, or not just me, all of us did, but we got attention from the rest of the guilds. So finally, I got an invite into one, and then once I got into an invite, it was just kind of up from there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because guilds in Classic
were very, very
were actually
selective.
an exclusive.
Yeah.
Like you had to like fairy tale style prove yourself before
Pretty
you could
much,
get into
yeah.
the fucking guild.
There was, they had the same shit that they have now, where you have a guild and everybody can have a guild. You can literally make a guild. It doesn't matter. The problem is you had your exclusive select guilds that literally had one job, and those jobs were basically to be number one of the server and be number one. Essentially, was to constantly complete the hardest challenge, which is whatever raid was out at the time. And you couldn't just say, oh, hey, I want to join this guild, so let me go ahead and get an invite. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks. No. It wasn't that simple. They were very selective with it. So it was kind of like being in that, that circle of super friends or whatever. And so you had to prove yourself to get in there. And
because don't most guilds, like, one of the not even the guild leader, like, he never deals with it. Like, one of the other underlings actually takes you on a trial, like, dungeon, or takes you on, like, a trial raid.
Yeah, I had that a lot. Because, like I said, I was on Mal'Ganis, and that was one of the larger... Yeah, probably one of the largest. It was definitely the largest shit.
Before
the
Illidan became like the biggest.
Yeah, well, there was a lot
server.
of them. There was Tichondrius, which was all PvP. There was Illidan. There was Mal'Ganis. There was a couple of them. There was a lot of big ones. Deathwing was another huge one. Anyway, so yeah, I just remember once I beat that, it basically it was kind of like getting your first job in a sense, where once you got that first job, you got your foot in the door into the world, and then you can just kind of go anywhere you want. Same shit. Finally got that first kill under my belt, and I could go anywhere I want. And whenever, people could argue that I didn't get the kill because I had the armor piece that you can only get from it. So obviously I had a status symbol at that point on me. So no matter where I walked, even if I was in PvP or whatnot, people knew that I obviously achieved it because I had something to prove it. So that was another cool factor about it as well. And then also the head that hung up in Stormwind was super cool. Because it was Onyxia's head just hanging there, and I was like, fuck yeah, I did that. I said the dragon. It was cool. I was like 14, 15. I was like, yeah, I killed a dragon.
Well, comrades, this has been our much more thought out, much more concise list of our total top 10 favorite moments of Classic WoW for us. And this hopefully will give you guys a little bit more insight of why we love the game so much and what we loved about it and why we want it back exactly the way that it was. With that being said, though, I believe we've honestly said our piece on this. So if this continues gaining popularity, if you guys keep commenting, if you guys keep liking, honestly, we will do a series of Clueless Comrades, just like how we are right now, of playing Classic WoW. Like, we will sit there and we'll actually figure out a way to make it entertaining and fun, whether we'll keep setting tasks like complete Welling Caverns as just the Clueless Comrades or whatever else. Hell, we might even make a guild. Who fucking
Beat
knows?
Dead Minds, just us two. Level 15. I'm not doing Naxxramas. But anyways,
what if we get a whole group of, like, Clueless Comrade?
dude,
Like, an entire guild dedicated to task completing
we would
Nax.
need like a Theme PvE version, Swifty PvE version, Bajira PvE version, and
Soda Pop for literally.
Yeah.
Soda Pop is just a bard.
Yeah.
That's all he would be. He would just be strumming us along, and the heroes charged into Nax.
And
so
whatever ex nihilum members we could find that were willing to pop on after they're dealing with their kids now. Like, if they could pop on, then we'd be like, all right, we have an actual feasible chance as long as none of us are talking and they're saying everything. Yeah, that's about the only way we would get a chance.
No, the only thing we say is task set as we run into
like
it.
Leroy run into it. But no, seriously, comrades, if you like what you saw in this video, again, give us a comment, a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and become a comrade. But seriously though, if because we got a lot of views from the last one, a lot of likes and everything from the last kind of podcast vlog thing that we did here. If you want us to do more of these, definitely hit us up. We would love to do more. We really like talking about, especially World of Warcraft, but there's definitely other games we're definitely more than willing to talk about. So if you guys want us to talk about something that we've experienced, definitely hit us a comment in the give us a message in the comments, and we'll definitely talk about it if we played it or done it or whatever. And then if you don't like it, then tell us fuck off and don't do it again and dislike the shit out of this video. But either way, give us something so we have an idea of what we're doing. But in all seriousness, I'm glad you guys lasted this long. Appreciate it again. And whoever that guy was, we'll put his name in put it on the screen. 6, I think it was. I'll find it real quick. The guy that originally wanted us to do this video, or at least more videos.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, you actually were the sole reason we decided. Okay, we'll do one more. Because the thing is too is that when you're a smaller channel and you're first starting out, the voice of one person can normally be the voice of many people that just didn't even bother to show up or say anything.
His name was Z-Nix, so thank you, Z-Nix. Hope you subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate it again, man. If you want us to look at anything else or talk about anything else, definitely tell us. We'll do it. And then everybody else, same thing. So you got anything else to say, man?
Peace.